everybody, and welcome back to Out of Body, 31 Days of Halloween. Today I'm going to be going into part 2 of the series that I've been reading on here. I'm really excited. There's actually 2 more parts that I know of at this point. I don't know if there'll be more, but I'm excited. So this story is called My Friend Didn't Follow the Rules, Now He's Missing. So I just want to shout out real quick the person who wrote this. He didn't tell me, or she didn't tell me to do this. Anyway, I think it's a good series, so I just want to say, if you want to follow them on Reddit, the handle is aLGBTsandwich, and LGBT is all caps. I don't know if that matters. I'm not on Reddit a whole lot, so I don't know a lot of stuff, but I will also link them in the description so you can go follow them. I've noticed they've written some other stories. So anyway, let's get into part 2 of this series. I should have known I would never be able to stop Red. He wanted to break all of the rules despite all of his previous trials. At this point, Red had to know this wasn't a game. I wonder now if Red had been suicidal. He continued his pursuit despite obvious death staring him in the eyes. Maybe there was something more to it? I'm still not sure. Now it was the beginning of spring in mid-March. I watched him from a classroom as he stood at his locker, casually talking to his assistant as he felt the braille on the lock. I knew what he was planning, but I wasn't going to stop him. I, as a middle schooler, hated him for disregarding me, so I left him to die. It's no excuse, I know, but listen. By the time 4th period rolled around, I hadn't heard any news about Red. I became curious and tried to ask my teacher why he was absent from class. Before I could raise my arm, an announcement boomed over a loudspeaker that I never knew we had. We are going into a school-wide lockdown. Teachers of AJH do not allow any students into the hallway at this time. Code Creature. Code Creature. Our teacher nervously backed her way to the door and locked it and pulled the blinds to the window in the hallway. She sped back to her oak desk and continued teaching, sounding nervous. "What is this?" A classmate stood up and scoffed. She stood up and sprinted to the door and opened the blinds. Within seconds, our entire class of 10, including me, was surrounding the window. Curiosity burned inside me and I peeked into the halls. I thought I'd never forget what I saw. Emphasis on thought. Until that classmate had reached out to me, I hadn't remembered this. What I saw was a body bag on the floor with Red's hair sticking out of the zipper. There were 2 people beside him in full hazmat suits and had masks resembling a plague doctor's. They snapped to the side and nodded to something in the corner of the hallway. However, before I could see any more, the teacher jumped to her feet and pushed us away from the classroom door. All I can remember next was a thick fog coming from under the door. Next thing I know, I'm at my desk. Weren't we in lockdown? I raised my arm to ask. Our teacher smiled. Her lips said everything was okay, but her eyes looked dead. Of course not, she said. For a moment, the students around me looked confused, but then they, like I, accepted it. I didn't think about Red or the lockdown the rest of the day. Before we dismissed that day, I walked down the hallway and I went to Red's locker, except I didn't know it was Red's. Does that make sense? It was like he was erased from my mind. The locker door was ajar. Without thinking, I opened it fully. It was empty except for a small notepad. I can remember grabbing it before a teacher I didn't know tapped me on the shoulder. He grabbed the book from my hands and opened a tile in the floor. It doesn't make sense now, but he put the notepad in and shut the tile. He patted me on the back and I moved along. My last memory of AGH was thinking, we don't have any male teachers. That was 24 years ago. I've noticed some weird things. The classmate who messaged me, I can't remember her. I can't remember Red ever having a girlfriend. I'm not convinced she even existed. I'm trying not to sound insane. Also, that man. I'd never met him and we didn't have any male teachers. What about that fog that creeped under the door? What about the loudspeaker that I'd never heard? I've been talking to my wife and even she thinks I'm going crazy. I know I'm not. I've been doing some research and Red's parents are still alive and they live in the same town as AJH. However, AJH closed 20 years ago. For some reason, they never repurposed or demolished the building. It's miles away from the rest of the town, so no one really goes near it. I've bought a plane ticket and I'm in an Uber to the airport right now. My wife is on a work trip, so she won't miss me. A few hours ago, I got another Facebook message from the classmate. It says, "Good luck. The Uber is now speeding up." It's going faster and faster. The driver is looking back at me with slanted eyes. His expression is hidden behind his mask. "Excuse me?" I raise my voice to him. He keeps his eyes glued to the road. "Excuse me?" His eyes become slits. "Stop!" He slams his foot down on the accelerator and we speed around curves over flat country land. "Please stop," I murmur. I shut my eyes tightly and grip onto my phone. As soon as I open my eyes, the driver looks back at me and tilts his head ever so slightly. The car is slowly decreasing in speed. Soon we get to a stop. I look up. It's the airport. I go to open the door. It has a child lock on it. "You're going to the Appalachian Mountains?" the driver interrogated me. I lied awkwardly. "No, I'm going to Florida to visit family. I miss them a lot." "No, you aren't." "What?" I asked, stuttering. "What do you mean?" He chuckles. "Good luck." He steps out of the car and walks around to my car door. He opens it and spreads out his arms as a gesture showing me the airport. I rush inside to get away from him. Nothing is going to stop me from reaching AJH. If I don't post again by Saturday, I'm dead. I have a feeling if I can find the notepad, I will survive another day. I'm about to board my plane now. I'll wish myself luck. And that's where part 2 ends. So, like I said, there's 2 more parts, so I'll be reading them. Probably just do 1 a week, but we'll see how this goes. Anyway, I think it's a good story so far. I think it's definitely building more and building interest. I don't know, I just thought it was good. I just like, the first thing that like really got me on the story was just the fact that it's these kids in this like middle school and the teachers have this list of rules, and the rules are like nothing that you would expect in a school. It's like actually crazy, creepy stuff. So anyway, I thought it was good. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Stay tuned for the next one, and stay tuned for the next video tomorrow, since this is 31 days. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, wonderful rest of your month. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.